Ask Reddit, what survival myth is completely wrong and can get you killed? Top comments. 1. You can drink water from a cactus. Any liquid inside a cactus will be highly acidic and likely to cause nausea and diarrhea, further dehydrating you. 2. Follow flying birds to find water. They can simply be flying to spend a night anywhere, so we can't rely on them. 3. Conserving water. You should not stretch a glass of water over 4 days. When you are thirsty, you need water. 4. If you're in a hot area, don't ration your water, drink when you feel thirsty and search for more water. Edit, the myth to be avoided is rationing your water. Don't ration. 5. If you're in a tornado, open all your windows to equalize the pressure inside to match the outside. If you're in a tornado, opening any window or door will create a wind tunnel that rips your entire roof off. 6. Concerning frostbite, do not rub someone's frostbitten skin or pour hot water on it to warm them up. Such measures will damage the skin even more severely. 7. That moss grows on the north side of a tree. It can grow all over the tree, so it's not a steadfast rule that you should make important decisions solely on. 8. That bullshit, change your voicemail if you are lost, PSA that was making the rounds over the last year. You need a cell signal to change your voicemail. If you have a signal, then why wouldn't you just call for help? Moreover, it misses the most important thing about US cell phones and being lost. 911 will work on any cell tower regardless if it's in network or even if you have an active phone plan or not. So in an emergency, always try dialing 911 regardless of your phone appears to have signal or not. Edit, to the dozens of people who replied that you are supposed to change your voicemail before going out, this is still a bad idea. If you're lost or injured in the woods, your survival depends on being found quickly. Waiting for someone to get worried enough about you not coming back to try calling you is just going to waste precious time. It's much better to just tell your friends/family where you will be and set up a check-in time so they know you made it back safely. 9. You cannot eat everything that an animal can eat. There are things animals can eat that humans find toxic, so eating everything you see animals eating can lead to you potentially eating deadly berries or mushrooms. 10. The first mistake in wilderness is to look for food and water first before having a shelter up to keep yourself dry and warm. Also, if you have to forage for food, avoid mushrooms entirely. Odds are so slim you will find an edible kind that you're much better off looking for things like nuts, seeds, and berries. People say that herbivores animals are friendly and peaceful, so you are safe being around them. Seriously, everything from cows to deer can and will kill you if you make it angry. It is usually a good idea if you are in the wilds not to get near any large wild animal, but herbivores can often be even more aggressive than the predators. If a predator attacks you, you have a fairly good chance of scaring it off, especially if it's smaller than you, because it's likely only looking for food. If a herbivore attacks you, you're F because it genuinely wants to kill you. 11. Running in a zigzag to outrun an alligator. Alligators don't run for long distances, so this will probably just waste your energy. They can also climb some fences and trees as well. 12. If a shark is coming after you, swim away. If a shark is coming towards you in the first place, it's most likely just curious and wants to check you out. Swimming away and thrashing about will further intrigue it to keep following you. Instead, redirect it by running your hand along its side and carefully positioning it to swim away from you. Side note, if one happens to bite you, poke/stab it in the eyes or pull on its gills instead of bopping it in the nose. Gills and eyes are far more sensitive than a shark's nose. 13. Almost anything related to avalanches. Here are a few popular and false myths that they strike at random. Most avalanches that injure or kill people are caused by those people, and they always show signs of instability, if you are paying attention. The problem is that there are lots of false positives where the signs are there, the instability is there, but people just don't quite manage to trigger them. That you should be quiet to be safe from avalanches. Because they are caused by sound. Sound does not trigger avalanches. Even very loud sounds are nowhere near enough. Avalanche control is done with howitzers and dynamite charges, that you can get out of the way. Well, sure, of course sometimes it's possible, but they can travel up to 60 miles per hour, and they can let loose across an entire slope all at once. By the time it slides, you are likely in it, and it's inescapable. That you can save yourself by swimming. Maybe for very small ones, but usually you're just being thrashed. I've heard it compared to being in a side-loading washing machine. That you can spit to tell which direction is up. You won't be able to see anything useful, and, gravity still works. But it's irrelevant because that relies on the next myth. That you can dig yourself out. Even if you are inches below the surface, it's very unlikely. The snow sets up very hard, very fast, as thought you got caught up in a snow plow clearing a parking lot after a big snowstorm. People caught in avalanches report not being able to move their fingers. Along with that are all the normal problems people have with low probability, high consequence risks, the it won't happen to me stuff, but that's not so much an issue of myths as poor judgment due to things like familiarity with a slope, desire to be accepted by a social group by skiing that rad backcountry line, feeling committed because you came all this way. Deferring to someone you perceive as an expert, desire to get the first tracks after a storm, social proof, where you see others doing it, so it must be safe etc. 14. You don't have to wait 24 hours to report somebody as missing to the police. Reply comment. Especially if it's a child. Missing children are at high risk during the first 24 hours, especially if abducted. In 76% of child abduction murders, the victim was dead within 3 hours. 88.5% were dead in the first 24 hours. Source: www.atg.wa.gov/child-abduction-murder-research. Edit. It says, in 76% of child abduction murders, not all abductions but the ones where main aim of abductors is murdering and not ransom or something. 15. Hit a snake fast with a shovel, or kill it by snapping it. If it bites you, suck the poison out or use a tourniquet. No. FFS. Australians are constantly bewildered by every other country's madcap insanity around this. We live with deadly snakes. Why do people do these things? Do not mess with the snake. Just leave it bloody alone. Magically, you don't get bitten. If you messed with the snake, see point 1, we told you not to mess with it, call an ambulance. Use a broad pressure bandage to immobilize the whole limb, never ever tourniquet a snake bite. You are reducing the natural lymph movement through broadly spread pressure, not trying to give them gangrene. The victim must not move unless being carried. Don't touch your damn mouth to the wound. Don't wash it. Just freaking stop. Immobilize, write the time of the bite and circle the location on the outside of the bandage, and wait for professional help. If you have to choose between walking or waiting if you are a long way from help, you wait. You are more likely to survive by not moving at all. Please, for love of God, just leave it alone. We have vastly more venomous snakes than a mere rattler, and we die vastly less often because we do not mess with the spicy danger noodle. 16. Myth: the rubber tires on a vehicle will insulate you from ground and protect you from lightning. Lightning doesn't stop for two of rubber, though the car will act like a Faraday cage and protect you from the electrical current unless you're in a convertible, a motorbike or any other vehicle that doesn't cover you in all directions. Also, don't lay down on the ground during a thunderstorm. You increase the risk of being shocked by a ground current, which can be pretty dangerous. Another thing, don't take shelter under a tree or a gazebo, they can explode or light on fire when struck.